Welcome to Business Prowess with Raphael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
Juanita, how are you today?
I'm doing so well, thank you, Sifu. Breaking through all those barriers. How are you?
Exceptional, getting better every day, my friend. Well, I am
Good.
super excited. We have 2 amazing coaches coming on with us. Let's bring them on. We have David and Kumar. Gentlemen, welcome to Business Prowess. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Honored to be here. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So how are we doing? What's going on in your world?
Go ahead. You want to go first?
No, that's okay, Dave. Please carry on, and I'll follow
Well,
up.
we got 2 polite guys here. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with
love
that? Well, I just came out of last week. I just came out of our academy. So I run the Dave Albin Firewalk Academy. I do it once a year. I had 11 beautiful souls come up here to the beautiful Appalachian Mountains in the northwestern part of the state of North Carolina. And we teach them all the stuff that we know, right? So we teach them all these corporate team building experiences, how to get started, what to do, how to talk to fire marshals. I mean, everything. So it was a spectacular event. 5 days. I literally was incredible. And I had a great group of people, and we had a freaking blast.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we're definitely we're gonna dive into that firewalk as well. Kumar, tell us what's going on in your world, my friend.
Most importantly, I was working on my other book, and that is about done. So I'm working with my marketing team and everyone to get everything started there. That book is, again, going to be about and for small businesses. This time, mainly about employee engagement, how it is different for small businesses. So that's it. And then business, in my main business, this is the peak time. This is the time when business gets busy. So everything around is getting busier. But the busier it is, the better it is for me. I'm able to do twice as much, 4 times as much.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then, of course, we need to know what's going on in South Africa. Juanita, what's going on with you?
Oh, Sifu, I mean, I am building up and building out and learning as I go, along the process. And I absolutely love what these gentlemen are busy with out there. It's very uplifting, and it's really, empowering to all the employees and the professionals that they work with, the individuals. So looking forward to our session. And how about you, Sifu? What's been going on there in the beautiful New York?
Well, I got a new program coming up, and I'm working with 2 amazing coaches, David and Jessica, and we have created something called Mosaic Experiences. So we take all the different puzzles that people's lives are, and we bring them together and to have an exceptional experience. And we're actually having one on October 21st. So we're building up to it, and it's just a blast. I love impacting people and letting them bring all their pieces. Sometimes they're broken, and we have the glue to help them put it back together. So
Beautiful.
What we kind of started talking a little bit about, and I'd love to get your impact on this also. And Kumar, if you don't mind, at one point in the private chat, put in your link where we can send people to, so maybe they can pick up your book. I would love a signed copy. You know me, I love books. I love to read. When we consider one of the things that you both of you gentlemen, and even Juanita, where we're all in business, one of the topics that is always very intriguing to me is when people say, nobody showed up to my event or my thing, or even I went on a date and the date didn't show up. Why didn't they show up? What is it? I showered, what's going on? But it's the follow-up, right? Isn't that everything? I'd love to dive a little bit into the follow-up and any other topic you gentlemen want to talk about. Who'd like to dive a little bit into follow-up?
Sure. I've
Go
been
for it,
doing
Dave.
it all yesterday.
Mhm.
So I have these video boxes that I send out, and I can target market anybody I want. So I can be very target specific, and I can get to pretty much just about anybody. And the reason is because, it shows up and it's a little tiny box, right? And I put personal and confidential on, like this one is going to the Lowe's Corporation. I'll just show you right here. This is going out and it's got, who it's going to. And so it comes in a little box like that. And then when they open it up, it's got information on the front and the back, my logo, my branding. And then when they open it up, it has a video about what's going on and why I'm reaching out to them. So it's very, very impactful. However, as impactful as they are, you still have to do the follow-up. No doubt about it. So that's what I was doing yesterday.
Follow-up. Because you know what? They may get the video, they may get the box, but they do nothing with it, right?
Yeah.
They put it aside. So what we have to do is reach out, grab them, make them take action. Isn't that what the follow-up is about?
Absolutely. And what's cool is because what's interesting about them is that they're really good for getting by the gatekeeper, right? So if you want to get to the CEO of a large corporation, there's gatekeepers. If you think you're just going to walk in there and call them on the phone and whatever and talk to them, it's not going to happen. The gatekeeper's there to protect them. And so what's interesting about the video box is that they are so impactful that the gatekeeper runs it into the CEO to show them, right? Which is pretty powerful. And then, of course, as you said, when you call back, they're like, oh, yeah. He definitely wants to talk to you. I get that all the time. So it's a beautiful way to get yourself, your product, your service, your message, whatever, in front of somebody that's influential.
I love it. And, one of the things that people may not know about you is that you did firewalking for Tony Robbins. You did it for what, 20 years?
A little shy, just a little shy of 20 years. I was his fire captain, and so basically my responsibility was to fly my team into a city somewhere in the world. We'd set everything up, get everything ready, do all the training. Tony would bring out 8,000 people. We'd firewalk them, we'd clean it up, and we'd go to the next city.
Beautiful. So when we consider that follow-up, you already have an interest for the follow-up. But what happens if that person didn't take the box to their boss? How does your follow-up work then? Because nothing is as we always want it, is it?
No, never is.
Right.
I think the bottom line is if that video box, the gatekeeper has a perceived value, or she thinks, wow, I think my boss is really going to want to see this, then you're in pretty good shape. And rapport is everything. I mean, I'm the guy that's going to talk to her and get in rapport with her. And, who knows what I'll do. I've been known to send all kinds of things in an attempt. Because, you get in front of a big company like Lowe's or Home Depot or Tractor Supply or whatever, that could easily be $100,000 account, easily, maybe more. The cool thing about me is that not only can I serve them at a high level for them, the company itself, and do events for them, the other thing I can do is they can use me in collaboration, right? So if they want to raise money for an organization, or they want to influence kids or veterans or first responders, whatever it is, then they can use me in both areas. So I have kind of a advantage there, if you will.
I love it. Kumar, I'd love to get your take on follow-up, because you just said earlier that this is the time when one of your businesses is really heightened, if you will, and you're doing double of everything, but it's easy for you, obviously, because you've been doing it for a while. So how important is follow-up in your businesses?
I think even in my business, or I would say in any business, it is really important. So in our case, when we have to do a lot of hiring, especially right now, as I said, business is expanding because of the
Mm,
seasonality. In hiring, if I am hiring someone if I am putting out an advertisement, I treat my potential employees, the candidates who apply, as my customers. Along with me, they are applying to 10 other places.
mm,
Follow up and how quickly I address their application is what distinguishes and what makes my situation better than my competition. There are multiple stages: background check and drug test and all of that, multiple rounds of interviews. If I don't hear from anyone, it doesn't feel good. I will recount my experience. When I was fresh out of my business school and I was applying for jobs, I used to hate it when there would be companies who would reject me, and that's fine. And there were companies who would just go silent, and that
mm.
is disrespectful, to be plain honest. So following up is also about letting the other person know that, hey, I remember you, I care for you.
Mm.
Following up is also about making that space for that CEO, as Dave said, making that space, because he or she could have been busy, could have been trying to calm other situations, other challenges. Following up is about trying to stand for you, even though it also serves my business interests.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. You talked about that CEO may be busy putting out other fires, but David's going to show him how to walk them, right? I got you, David. I got you.
You got, yeah,
Love it.
I had it coming,
but I'm listening. That's why. That's why. But Kumar,
Good.
when you consider it, one of the most important things that you said is it didn't feel good when you got rejected, but that didn't stop you from even following up and
Mhm.
say, maybe the ones that were silent, you said it was kind of rude, kind of not nice, right? Maybe they didn't have enough manpower to say no to people or even say yes, or even people following up. But as somebody even looking for an opportunity, which is what business truly is finding every opportunity, we need to follow up, because if we're looking for a client, they're going to hire us. So it's almost as if I went to work at a Fortune 500 company and I put my application in and they don't get back to me. If I don't follow up, they don't know how persistent I am and how much they need me in their company. So follow up goes both
Yeah.
ways, I believe,
and,
because a
and
lot of people only think, oh, well, I didn't get the job. Well, how do you know you didn't get the job? How do you know if you didn't really find out? And be honest. Why didn't I get the job? Was I overqualified? Was I underqualified? Was I ugly? Did I shower? All these, you got to put a little fun into it. But the whole thing is, if we don't follow up, we only have ourselves to blame, and we shouldn't blame other people and say, well, they didn't hire me because, no, they didn't hire you because you don't know why. Find out why. And then fix whatever the reason they didn't hire you, right?
And I
Yeah.
mentioned that example because when I'm on the other side, when I'm the one who's hiring and kind of setting up my systems for my people, I want to make sure that people have a seamless and experience in my hiring process, and they feel heard, listened, and cared for. Even if the end result is, sorry, it's not going to work for us,
Mhm.
it's important. So that's why I've remembered that memory to be able to give something transformational, something totally different. And that is what distinguishes me and is one of the reasons behind I doing good in the area we are doing.
Mm, beautiful. Love it. Love it. When we consider
Yeah.
follow up, I don't send one email. I'm that annoying guy who says, "Hey, are you coming?" remember you said you were coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? And then I text you. And then I call you. And then I go, okay, an hour before, maybe even 2 hours before, day before. Remember, it's tomorrow. Remember, it's now. I even emailed you guys earlier today, didn't I? I said, see you shortly, right? Because that's important. How do we know if somebody, like I said, you go on a date and they don't show up? Well, maybe you didn't, you kind of mentioned the restaurant. Hey, we're going to meet at Bernie's restaurant. And maybe they heard Bernie's instead of Bernie's. They heard it with a V instead of a B. And then that's it. You're sitting there and you go, man, I got stood up. No, you just didn't communicate well. So I think follow-up is big when we communicate. How many ways can we communicate? I just mentioned 3. Email, conversation, phone call, right? Text,
Yeah.
social media. Tell their friends, hey, don't forget to tell John to be here, right?
Tenacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add to the first point of Sifu and Dave. It's all about the charisma and the tenacity. Actually, just approaching those people with really who you are, showing who you are and your passion for what you do. And talking about the video boxes, I was thinking, Dave, some are go-getters and they get that video box and they give it to their CEO and, the project gets rolling. And some are more, like they're not go-getters like that. Maybe they put it off for a little while or they prioritize something. But for the first group that are go-getters, follow up, they appreciate it because they want to be on the momentum, they want to be on the go, they want to get things done. And for the second group of individuals, they need that follow up because they might be, busy or they might be traveling, they might have put it on the back burner and forgotten about it. Now, to what Kumar said, I really related to that as well because I'm no blacksmith, but I know that you beat that steel when it's hot. So you don't wait for a window. You get in there and you start building and you start working out, and see where this is going and how we can collaborate. So it's all in that momentum as well. And that's what I love about Sifu. And he is really that tenacious and he really follows up. There's emails, there's texts, and he's just always on the go and on the ball. He keeps his finger on the pulse, and that's very important because true to what you said, Sifu, we have so many ways of reaching out. I love reminders. Like I'm one of those people. I love a reminder because it helps me to put my day chronologically together. It's there, but the phone rings, there's interruptions, things happen, and then that reminder comes through, and I'm able to do what I need to do when I do it. So let's beat that iron, guys. When that iron is hot, when we're in that moment, let's take that gap and let's do great things. Yeah.
Yeah, love it, love it. When we consider beating the iron, we beat it, but iron just sharpens iron too.
That's
So
right.
let's not forget that part, right?
Yeah.
I love the way you brought it together, Juanita. That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's go
Thank
on.
you.
What else can we talk about? I am excited to have 2 amazing gentlemen here with me, and of course the queen of business here with us as well. Let's consider a slightly different topic, which is follow up, right? And you talked about it, Kumar, a little bit. You may have to say no to somebody, but what if we said yes to somebody and they didn't do what they promised to do? Oof. That's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think one thing which distinguishes entrepreneurs from everyone else is what we're talking about, Sifu here, tenacity. For all of us, there have been there. I'm just presuming, but I think I'll be almost accurate. There would have been situations where people said a no, that, hey, I'll sign the deal, I'll make the payment, and it didn't come through. A, tenacity, following up, presuming that maybe something could have gone wrong there. B, if nothing, not letting that take a beating and then taking the next step. But for sure, like taking a pause and thinking, what could have gone wrong? Could I have done anything better? Did I lose my connection with that person? Because ultimately, it can be huge businesses as Dave is working with, but there are humans gatekeeping, there are humans owning, there are humans in the decision making. So did I do something that lost where I lost him or her? So but despite all of that, it is going to happen, it will happen time and again. And an entrepreneur is someone, and all of us are in the same boat, who kind of just wipe it off, and then we are like back to the next one. That's what distinguishes and differentiates us from everyone else.
I agree. Sometimes, and I'm also thinking when you were talking about, and even for David, even when somebody says no, maybe it's no right now, but that doesn't mean that I don't keep following up, because it may be the right time a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. Hey, listen, I had somebody recently say to me, oh man, I can't do your show. I said, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I said, when you're ready, I'll be
Good.
here. They're like, really? I said, absolutely. I said, I am the guy that shows up every time I say I'm going to show up. And why do I do that? It's my reputation. Do I value who I am? Do people value who I am? Can people count on me? So when somebody says not now, I said, okay, no problem. I'll come back around and I'll poke at you again. Hey, are you ready now? How about now? Ready now? No, not yet. Okay, I'll come back. And sometimes I have turned people down, me personally. They came to me, they wanted my service. And I said, you're not ready. You're not ready for what I'm going to give you. And if I give it to you now, you won't value it. So I said no to them.
Yeah.
I had somebody that took 7 years and then came back to me.
Wow.
And you know what they said? I'm ready for you now. I said, good. Good. And they've been with me for 15 years now.
Nice.
But had I taken them initially, they would have lasted 6 months. So we sometimes need to recognize if somebody is ready for what we are offering, or maybe we're not ready to take on that project. Maybe we say, you know what, before I go, I reach these people, maybe I got to build up a little bit more myself. I got to bring my business to this level, so now they can see that I am the right value for them, right? For the opportunity that they may want. What are your thoughts, gentlemen, young lady?
Well, it applies to me on a large scale.
Oof, I'm sure.
When people come to me, normally they've done their research. They're like, okay, it reminds me of a time I had a client call me one time and wanted to fly me out, and they wanted to meet me. So they did, brought me into the boardroom, set me down in front of the whole team, and the CEO introduced me and said, hey, we brought in Dave, we want to do a firewalk for 350 of our sales and marketing people. And who here's, would like to start off by asking any questions? Well, the corporate attorney was sitting right there, and he starts off and he goes, I got a couple of questions. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. And he said, how many of our people are going to get burnt? And I went, okay, fair question. And, my answer was, I said, well, let me ask you a question. How many of you ever taken your family to the beach or to a lake or to a pool and gotten them sunburned? Anybody here not do that? Everybody's done that? Yeah. Okay. How many of you took them back and did it a second time? Right. And I said, well, let me just be crystal clear about something. That's 100 times more dangerous than any firewalk you're ever going to do with me. And about that time, the CEO spoke right up. He goes, oh, Mr. Albin, he goes, I think we've made a big mistake in bringing you here. And I thought, he didn't like my answer. And he turns to the COO who's sitting right next to him. And he said, look, if this guy's good enough for Google and he's good enough for Tony Robbins, he's good enough for us. Let's get this guy booked and let's go to lunch. It was like, what?
Good.
So, when they're ready, they're ready. We have a saying in AA that I think kind of applies in business. And that is, if somebody wants to get sober, there's nothing you're going to say that's going to be wrong. If they don't want to get sober, there's nothing you're going to say that's going to be right.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. That's for sure. So let's talk about opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. I had an employee who was working for me, and it comes back to what I said before. They made promises they're going to do their job like this. They started to falter. I gave them a chance. I would give them a chance. I would give them a chance. And finally, I said to them, hey, guess what? Your opportunity has ended. So I'm sorry to say that I'm closing that opportunity. That position is no longer available. So we don't need you anymore. Because I gave you a bunch of opportunities. I said, but they were amazing as a human being. So I said, but I have a new opportunity and it opens up tomorrow at 8 a.m. There is a job interview. And I think that you may want to apply. I said, but if you don't come to the job interview, I totally understand. I said, I want to wish you the best of luck. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of tears going on, right? And they could not believe I fired them. But after I fired them, I saw the value of who they were, and I gave them a new opportunity, which people would normally not do. And they left. And I said, well, I hope I see you tomorrow. Can I tell you, they were early. They were early. And I said, by the way, you cannot come dressed casually. This is a business. You need to come. And and I said, by the way, this is the application. This is what is required of this job. And it was basically their job description that they were supposed to fill. But then I put 2 more things in it. And then I said to them, if you think, and I handed it to them because I already had everything prepped. I said, here is the application for the job that you will be applying for if you want. And I handed it to them. It's up to you. And when they came in, I actually did a full interview with them. And I said, what experience have you had? What can you do? Have you ever faltered? And if they lied, I wouldn't have hired them. But they said, yeah, my last job. And I said, remember, this is a new interview. And because of their honesty, I said, okay, but I want to let you know this is on a short-term basis. It's every 3 months you're being evaluated. And they're like, oh, okay. I said, well, and this is the pay, and this is this, and this is your benefits package. And they were thrilled. And I said, okay, we'll see you next week. I gave them a week off. I didn't pay them, but they got a new job. And it made them change the way they do business with me now. They now are a big proponent of training other people to be really good because they understand that, hey, you know what? I don't want to think that I'm irreplaceable because we all are. I am. And the thing I always tell my employees is, hey, guys, I want you to replace me. I want you to be in my seat. I don't want to sit here forever. It gets dull and boring. I want to do new things, new adventures. But I can't do that without you taking my seat. So I'm always asking people to level up and go to the next level. Thoughts? Go for it.
Okay. I wanted to say, can we let Juanita start? But then nevertheless, you're sharing this. I had a very similar recent example, and I also shared my journey through this conversation. So when I started my own business venture, I was someone who would usually, have some resist difficult kind of conversations, especially with my close team, my close management team. So I would resist that. I would avoid that, not from a sense of avoidance or fear, but from a sense of, you know what, you are owning this aspect of the work. So if you're owning it, of course you'll make mistakes, of course there'll be things. So, I'll just give you that space. I used to do that, and then I started realizing it didn't go well. There were quite a couple situations when people in my team kind of perceived that maybe I didn't care. That's why I didn't tell them the right thing to do, or tell them in time, or I didn't know. And it was, for me, it was also a miss in the communication of expectations, not in terms of the tangible results, but in terms of the values and the expected behavior. So that was where I was when I started, and it took me some time. I did some work. One of those work was creating position standards, which had not just the tangible standards in terms of actions, but also the behavior standards, also the expectations. And those gradually helped. I worked with some, my business coach, and that business coach helped me see my resistance to having difficult conversations, especially with my close knit people, with my close coterie of management. So they kind of, they made me alive to it, and all of that did wonders. Recently, similar to your situation, Sifu, I had to let go of someone very close in my team. That person was otherwise really great, had been with me ever since we started, almost 2 years. But was going on posting some content on social media which was tarnishing their reputation, and also, because he was my lead person, so, kind of also impacting the company. And I had warned, and then a couple things, and then, I had to. But as you said, I really love the person. I was wanting to help him set up his own business. And I said, this job is not going to work because you've done it the third time. It appears to me to be a slap on the face, and I can let it pass, but then I'll not be upholding the values and the standards which I have been talking about. So I got to make this tough decision. But at the same time, I like you as a human being. I really appreciate you. So I'll still help you set up your business. I'll still help you get
Wow.
through the process, but not as my manager, but I'll walk you through that step. I lost the person, and I was, again, as you said, tears. I lost the person, but I lost the employee, but I don't want to lose the person.
Right. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm in a position where most of 99% of everything that goes down in my company is me. I have boots on the ground, right? So if I go into a city somewhere in the world, I typically have a lot of people in the area, especially in the US and Canada, Australia, and Europe. And they're pretty much, they're volunteers. And so I'm not in that position where I have a lot of employees and have had to do anything like that. But I love that, which, Raphael, what you just, what you talked about there, and how you gave that person. What a great gift. I mean, what a wonderful thing to turn around and do for a human being there. Because, people are worth it. I believe that sometimes all they need is just a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of guidance in the right direction. And that trajectory can change everything about them. So, but I get what you're saying. You got to have boundaries, and you got to have, here's what I am expecting of you. My son just got a really great job, and they told him, this is what we want you to do in 3 months. He did it in 3 weeks. The CEO of the company came and made an appointment with him, got him on a Zoom call, or, they have another system, but he said, "Hey, David, I need to apologize to you. We've underhired you. We had no idea that you were this skilled." So he turned around and not only acknowledged him in front of the entire team, he gave him a substantial raise of like $25,000 in a year. So I'm like, well, that's a darn good company that would come forth and do something like that. So it all comes down to us. We're the entrepreneurs. I believe it's one of the greatest jobs you can ever have. And it's a little lonely out there sometimes when you're out there, all by
Yes.
yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What you said you have
True.
99% boots on the ground. So what's the other percent? I'm just
Me?
kidding.
Yeah, right. I do it all, man. And I like that. I'm good with that because then I can keep my hand on the volume control. I can keep myself as busy as I want. I'm going to be 70 here in a couple of months. And so I'm in really great shape. I've taken really good care of myself, and I got 2 grandkids. And the one thing when I talk to entrepreneurs, I do a lot of work for the Entrepreneur Organization. You guys probably know who they are. EO. There's 198 chapters globally, and last year alone I did 7 gigs for them. 2 scheduled already this year. And one of the first things I tell all entrepreneurs is that, look, you're not going to wake up someday and say to yourself, wow, I wish I'd have spent more time making money and less time with my family. It's not going to happen. And so one of the things I learned from Tony, from Mr. Robbins, and that is, we can achieve at a high level, but if it's not balanced with, fulfillment, you're probably failing in that area of your life.
Yeah, without a doubt. Juanita, you were going to say?
Yes, I wanted to add, talking about having an employee, they're not fulfilling their role, they're not carrying out their duties, that can really be a disruption, it can be a barrier, it can bring stress into the workplace because sometimes that puts extra stress on the other employees. And, Sifa, I love what you did with your employee because you had to sit down and ask yourself the hard question. Is this employee functioning the way they're supposed to? Is it working out? Is it not working out? And through the process of actually firing them and taking them for a new interview and giving them that second chance,
Wow.
you facilitated a situation where they were able to ask themselves those hard questions. And you're shaping them because that's a lesson in itself. And I think that's just beautiful. That's impeccable. And being an entrepreneur, yes, Dave, it's a very lonely road. I agree. And it's also a road where we have to ask ourselves the hard questions. Kumar, I agree with everything you said as well. We have to get to that place where we really, when we work with people, we lose the employee, but we never lose the person. I think that was wonderfully articulated. And people are important. It's all about people at the end of the day.
It is. It's so, well, think about business is people driven. Yes, it may be AI nowadays. It may be machinery, right? But it's still people controlling the machines. It's still people who have to come and fix the machines. It's people who are putting the input so that AI can manipulate certain things. When we consider a new client coming in, how do we even touch base with them? Do we, for example, I have several businesses, and one of my businesses, my martial arts business, if somebody goes to my website, what happens? There's steps, there's a procedure that happens. Within 5 minutes, they get a text, they get an email, and then they get a phone call. And then the next day they get a text, they get an email. And if they didn't answer their phone, they get a call. So there's a process of how we need to engage with prospects, prospective clients, people who may be interested in one of the avenues. If somebody's calling me because they want me to build something for them, whether it's to help them with their business, to help them with their home, whatever it is, I have to follow a procedure on how to better help them. So let's talk about some procedures that you gentlemen might talk about. David, you talked about sending out a package, a video, but what happens if that person, are you sending a DVD, a VHS? What are you sending to them?
Well, it's an actual video box, so it's about this thick.
Okay.
And again, as soon as they open it, the video starts to play. So there's three levels of that video. The first part is all the intro. Here's who I am. This is what I do, and this is what it's going to do to help you. The second part of the video is testimonials. So I've got a testimonial in there from Google. I've got a testimonial in there from a musician in Nashville. I've got a friend of mine that was the last passenger off flight 1549 US Air, Miracle on the Hudson. He's in there. I've got a testimonial in there from NASA. So they're pretty substantial. And then I got one from a single mom with 3 kids that I've done, firewalking and glass walking and all that kind of stuff with. So the testimonials are there. And then after that, it's the call to action. Where do we go from here? So there's a QR code that's involved, and it makes it real simple, very seamless. Boom. Next thing you know, they're filling it out. They're sending me their email, their name, their company name, their email address. And as soon as I get that, just like you do, Raphael, boom, I'm on them. If we get a lead like that from a video box that I sent out, I do all the follow-up. Then once we've got them on board and we've onboarded them and they've activated their 25% discount, then my assistant will take it from there, and then she takes care of all the details in terms of booking and scheduling and all the things logistically that have to go into it if they're going to schedule something like a firewalk or a glass walk experience.
Got it. I love it. I love the fact that it's all easy, right? Because to bring somebody on, if they have to jump, if they have to do all these things, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Well, something I have at our company. I just taught this at the academy, and that is let it be easy. That is what we teach them. There's nothing hard about this. This isn't hard. Let it be easy. And of course, when you have that kind of a mindset, next thing you know, you're setting it up to let it be easy.
Yeah. When we make it easy for people, it gives them a calming feeling, like, oh, okay, I can do this. So one of the things that, if you think about the great public speakers out there, I know I'm a public speaker, Juanita's a public speaker. If you guys are, obviously, about the public speaking, because Dave, you've been with Tony Robbins. The man knows how to speak, right?
Yes, he does.
But one of the things that, if we start talking where people have to open a dictionary to understand what we're saying, we lost them.
Oh, yeah.
We lost them entirely. So when we do any speeches, they have to be so that the audience understands. I was at an event recently, and unfortunately, there was a gentleman in the front. He was in the second row. He couldn't hear the speaker. So the speaker did not acknowledge that there's an older gentleman in front of him. And he kind of spoke low. And so the speaker at the end of everything goes, hey, listen, I think this was good. But he came and he said it to somebody in the back. We were in the back because we were presenting also. They said, I don't want to be rude, but could you tell the gentleman that just spoke to be louder next time I see him? So if you don't know your audience, how can you connect with them? So the volume, it has to be important. The words we use have to be important. And even the words or the words we put in an email have to be important. The message that when they open that video box, that message has to be clear, right? Because you're giving them action steps. And I love that.
Yeah. And again, from my perspective, I'm going after the big boys. I'm not, I'm going after major companies, and I do a lot of research, like for Lowe's. Okay, to approach Lowe's, how can I approach Lowe's? Well, the reason I can approach Lowe's is because every firewalk that I do, guess where I go? I go to Lowe's, right? I'm getting all my stuff, right? I can buy the wood there. I can buy the concrete board, the shovels, the rakes, the gloves. It's almost everything I need is at Lowe's, including the accelerant and so on. So from my perspective, it's like, hey, look, I love your company. I use your company every day. I'd love to collaborate with you. So I'd love to do nothing more than say, hey, we're doing a firewalk for XYZ company. Here I am. I'm back at Lowe's, the company that I used for all my supplies. Okay, then you're hashtagging them. So you're bringing attention to them. And so, again, from my perspective, if I reach out to a specific company, I did that knowing that on the follow-up, I know exactly what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to set that up so that it's a win-win for both of us.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Kumar, you have a new book coming out. You wrote one already, right? You have another one. See, I pay attention. So when is the other one? You said you're just finishing up. When do you expect the other one to come out?
It will be by the end of this year. So hopefully around Christmas is what I'm looking at. So I've done it. And in fact, it is around the conversations that we are having. Dave goes after the big fishes. It is something totally different, but the same principles, just piggybacking on that. Especially in our kind of business where you are hiring people who are, who don't need to have a specific skill. For example, you don't need to have a 4-year degree to become a driver or become like those kind of jobs. They are the people who I am after. They are my customers, especially when they are in their application process. And, the same principles which Dave said, I've designed my hiring process in such a way, keeping them in mind so that there is not even one single hiccup. So they can apply. Of course, there are multiple platforms which they can use. That's one of the options. Right after that, we have a cadence in our hiring team that I want the person responded ideally on the same day, the first contact. That, hey, thank you, just acknowledging, hey, thank you, we'll reach out. Then a contact through a text message, again, follow up. A contact indeed would already have sent an email, a follow-up through a text message, and after that, a call. If the person didn't pick up the call, maybe a voicemail, if they have a voicemail. If not, another text message. And then we are able to get them and then, of course, we have our own due diligence process. But if we are moving forward, we will make sure that we do it pretty quick. If we are not, we'll, of course, say thank you. And again, coming back to the principles, the why behind all of this is the same thing. This is the culture which we build right from the beginning, from when we are converting a candidate to an employee. And so we already set the grounds very clear. So even then, that employee engagement bit is easier because we've already set it up front, like out loud. We are sort of, we mention everything. Hey, if anything doesn't work, if any questions, let us know. And it always works. So that book on employee engagement, hopefully by Christmas, is about, there are multiple things and multiple aspects from HR and legal and all those processes. But the essence is treat your employees as real live humans and put, the age-old message, put yourselves in their shoes. If that would work for you, this is a golden rule. This rule never fails. Big businesses as customers, be it employees as customers, be it candidates as customers, be it anyone. So
I love it. I love it. By the way, I've been good on Santa's list, so I'm hoping that Santa will put your book in my stocking. I'm just saying. Right?
Just saying. A signed book will be in your stocking.
A signed book in my stocking.
How about this? My first book, I'm coming to New York. I'll be in New York during the Thanksgiving holiday. I'll personally meet you and do a,
I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. But we're all going to have to somehow go to David's event and somehow do something with David, because here's the thing, right? I have 4 other shows besides this one, and I need you guys on them, right? And Juanita has a show, Meticulous Moments, and she needs you on that show as well. So, gentlemen, our conversation may be coming to an end right now because we kind of went over, but we need to continue this conversation for sure. For sure. Also, when you come on my coaching call, I go a deep dive into who you are as a person and how you even became you. Right?
Yeah. Well, I'll plug one thing here. I've been at this a long time, 3 decades, Tony Robbins, all these big companies. I've had an incredible career, and I'm starting to move myself in the direction now that there's a huge, huge challenge in America. and it's suicide, and it's happening to veterans, and it's happening to first responders. And so I'm gathering now everyone that I can to say, look, let's go help resolve this, because I can create a system and a process with a board break. I know you know the board break, Raphael, because you do it in your martial arts, right? So I take that board and we write some things on the front, the back. I create the rite of passage. They break the board, then we circle them. They put the board into the fire. We do the firewalk, and then I do an experience after that that calibrates everybody's heart. And so what that does, it just brings them together. And once I can get everybody's heart to beat at the same time, I'm going to create the rite of passage with the veterans, where before they go out there and firewalk, they're going to have to take an oath, and they're going to have to promise to do no harm. And then one of my clients, Zippo Lighter Company, is actually going to make a lighter, and they're going to take the 1941 replica of the ones that they sent out to all the GIs when they traveled abroad during World War II, and they're going to write on that, do no harm. And Zippo is going to be donating the lighter. So that's kind of the direction I'm going at this point. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Wow.
You know, I think that speaking for me, I'm in. Let me know how I can help. Right?
Awesome. I'd love that. All of you. Sure.
Yes.
Let's go save some people's lives, you know? Yeah. Because,
Yes.
you know, no one else is doing it. I can tell you that. I'll just leave it there.
I got you. Well, I want to thank everybody for today.
Yeah.
Amazing show, great content. Do me a favor, everybody who is listening, who even watches it on the replay, share this show. It's so great. We always have amazing guests. You just heard from two amazing guests. My co-host, she's beyond amazing, and you know how much I love her. But we're worlds apart. I'm in New York. She's in South Africa. We unite in order to bring you this show, in order to bring you concepts that are real, that you can use every day. And when you consider business is, and you said it, Kumar, it's about people. So take care of your people, everybody. Don't forget, tip your waiters and your waitresses. Right?
I love that.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys stay on for a second. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. Everybody make sure to have an exceptional day. It is Friday the 13th. Just saying.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Time to build a fire.
Bye.
Time to build a bonfire, baby. All right, everybody. Enjoy. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you, guys. Keep shining.
Yes.